Namaskar friends, welcome to the channel JIB and CIB Made Simple. Today we are going to discuss our IIBF MSME 13 September memory based question and I will provide you detailed explanation. If you have not seen our previous year memory based question, then you can check out the description section of the video. I have provided the complete playlist in which I have explained all the questions available. And through this question you will get to know which are the important topics, which topic to read, which topic to skip, right? And not only I will provide you the correct answer, I will provide you the explanation for each and every option, so that if any question appear in the upcoming examination related to those concepts, you can easily answer them. So let's get started with our first question. This question is most frequently asked regarding the PMEGP. This is the most important topic from examination point of view. So the question is asking you which of the following statement correctly describe the PMEGP. You know what is PMEGP? Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. Option A says that it is merger of PMRY and REGP aimed at generating self-employment through micro enterprise implemented by KVIC when with eligibility requiring individual above 18 years. Option B says that PMEGP provide only loan with no subsidies and focus solely on agriculture employment generation. Option C says that PMEGP allow financial assistance to existing enterprise that have already received subsidy under other government scheme. Option D says that PMEG offer a flat 10% subsidy for project costing below 5 lakh regardless of the location or category. So these are the four options given here. Let's start with the option number 1. So let's look at option number 1. Option number 1 is correct. Yes, this one is correct. Why? Because PMEGP was created by combining two schemes, right? So there was first scheme was called PMRY. Okay, this PMRY was merged with, this is called Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana. It was merged with REGP, which we call Rural Employment Generation Program. And then after merging, this PMEGP is evolved. Okay, the idea is simple, to help the people. What was the idea? To help the people, right? And they start their own small business and micro enterprise, right? So this is the point. And who implemented? KVIC implemented, which is the Khadi and Village Industry Commission, with support from, so they get support from state office, right? They also get support from banks. Now eligibility, I told you, you should be above 18 years of age, minimum 18 years, right? With 18 years of age and should have minimum education required. So for example, suppose there is a 20, let me give you one example. Suppose there is a 20-year-old student, right? 20-year-old student with basic schooling. Now he want to open a tailoring unit, right? He want to open a tailoring unit, or he want to open a small service business, so they can apply under PMEGP. So these are the keyword point you must keep in the mind. Let's look at option number B. Option number B says that it provide only loan with no subsidy. That is wrong. PMEGP is not about agriculture. It's related solely, no, this is wrong. It is not about agriculture. It's about non-farm micro enterprise. Let me write it down, right? It about non-farm micro enterprise, non-farm micro enterprise, right? Like a small shop, workshop, or service unit. And it provide both loan and subsidy. Subsidy can range from 15% to 35% depending on the location and category of the beneficiary. So this option number B is completely misleading. What about C? Option C says that PMEGP allow financial assistance to existing enterprise that have already received subsidy under the other government scheme. So this is again wrong. Why? Because existing enterprise that already got subsidy from other government scheme, they are not eligible. PMEGP is only for, remember, it is only for new project. See, I'm writing these things are very, very important. Remember, this is only for new project. Okay, for example, if someone already took a subsidy under Mudra Yojana, they cannot come again and claim under PMEGP for the same unit, right? What about option D? Option D says that it offer a flat 10% subsidy for project costing below 5 lakh regardless of location or category. So this is also wrong. Subsidy is not flat 10%. It changes depending on whether the person is from general category or from a special category like SC, ST, women, differentially able. So subsidy can range from 15% to 35%. Right, so let's take the quick summary of what we have discussed here. So this is all about PMEGP. So it is a merger of two schemes, PMRY and REGP. First point. Second point is that focus is to create self-employment. That is the focus. What is the focus? Focus is for creating the self-employment. Then I told you it is implemented by KVIC plus bank. Eligibility is more than equal to 18 years, right? Plus minimum education. Project limit is 25 lakh. This question is also asked. What is the limit? 25 lakh manufacturing and 10 lakh for services. This limit is also been asked. Remember, project limit is 25 lakh for manufacturing and 10 lakh for services, and subsidy range from 15 to 35%. This range depending on the location and category. An existing unit with subsidy not eligible for it. So friend, always remember this point, that PMEGP is for new small businesses, right? It is for new small businesses in non-farm area, helping youth and artisan to become self-employed. That is what PMEGP is all about. Everything has been written here, and I have summarized all the things. If you think that this content is useful for your preparation, please hit the like button. This will motivate me to make more such as content. Also, you can share the content with your colleague who are preparing for this examination. It will be quite beneficial for them also. For your information, let me tell you that if you want to prepare, if you want to practice some quizzes based on MSME, you can join our Telegram channel. In the description section of the video, you will get the Telegram channel. You can join the Telegram and attempt many quizzes which are completely free of cost. Now friends, let's look at the next question. So what was the primary objective of the Pradhan Mantri Task Force? Yeah, this is a very good question. Pradhan Mantri Task Force constituted for the MSME sector development. What was the primary objective? Option A, to promote export of MSME product through international marketing agency. Option B, to reflect on issues raised by MSME association and formulate a comprehensive agenda for action. Option C, to develop policies solely focused on labor law reform in the MSME sector. Option D, to provide direct financing assistance to MSME without any structural reform. Very good question it is. So let's discuss this particular question. Let's look at option number A. So if you look at option number A, this is too much narrow. Export are important, but the task force was not made just for export. It has a much bigger agenda. The agenda was much bigger. Not only marketing, but also credit, labor, infrastructure, skill development. So export was only one small part, not the full objective. Option number B, yes, this one is the correct one. Because the task force was formed after the Prime Minister met with the, see what happened, let me tell you the history also. Basically our Prime Minister, they met with the MSME Association, right? They met with the MSME Association who highlighted many problems. Problem where that, credit was not available. Marketing channel was weak. Labor law was complicated. And infrastructure better was needed. Infrastructure better was required. Skill development was one reason, right? So even a smoother exit policy for field business. So the task force divided this topic into group, right? What the task force did, these are the topics, right? And they divided this topic into group, okay, and worked on recommendation for each group. They work on recommendation. For example, imagine that there is a small textile unit in a town. It has struggled with the loan approval, faces tough competition in the marketing, and lack a skilled worker. So the task force wanted to fix all these problems together, not just one. That's why they group it, and then they work on the recommendation. Now option number C says that to develop policies solely focused on labor law. It is again wrong. Labor law reform was just one part. Yes, this was one part of this. If the task force only focused on labor, it would miss bigger issues like credit and infrastructure. Option D says that to provide direct financing assistance to MSME without any structural reform. This is also incorrect. Why? Because the task force did not give out money directly. Instead, its job was to study the problem. First of all, they would study the problem. After studying the problem, they will recommend the changes. So the correct answer to this question is option number B. So let's quickly summarize the keyword which we have discussed regarding the task force. So task force was created after the PM meet MSME. First point I told you, PM and meet MSME association, then task force was created. The goal was to solve the multiple issue together. It was divided into subgroup, right? This task force was divided into subgroup like credit, marketing, labor, infrastructure, right? Exit policy, skill development, and it was divided into subgroup for focus solution. Recommended setting up PM Council on MSME. So it set up PM Council on MSME. Right, it was set up, right, to monitor the progress. So friend, remember the Pradhan Mantri Task Force for MSME was all about 360-degree solution. It was all about 360-degree solution for small businesses, not just one area. I hope this clear your confusion. Now friends, let's look at the next question that we have. The next question that we have is as you can see on the screen. So it says that what is the full form of CGTMSE and what is its primary objective? Very good question it is. CGTMSE full form and the primary objective is being asked in this question. So options are credit guarantee trade management service for enterprise to provide marketing support to SME. B. Credit guarantee fund trust for micro and small enterprise to provide credit guarantee to financial institution for loan extended to MSME. C. Credit goods and trade management services for entrepreneur to provide subsidy on trade loan. D. Commercial guarantee trust for micro and small entity to finance large scale industry with collateral security. I hope you know the answer very well, right? So the option number A is wrong. First of all, the full form itself is incorrect. CGTMSE does not stand for trade management service. No, this is wrong. Second thing is that it talk about marketing support. See, CGTMSE is not about marketing. It's about, loan guarantee. CGTMSE is about, loan guarantee. Like marketing support is given by other government scheme, but CGTMSE focuses only on finance. Yes, B number is correct. This is the correct definition. Credit guarantee fund trust for micro and small enterprise. Remember the full form. Sometimes question will be asked that what does E stand for? What does T stand for? So you should know the complete full form. And if you talk about the CGTMSE, let me elaborate a little bit about it. So you must know that CGTMSE, it was set up by MSME Ministry plus SIDBI. Remember, SIDBI is also involved in setting up the CGTMSE. What was the purpose? The purpose was to help the small business get loan without collateral. How? So bank normally ask for property or other asset as security. Many small entrepreneurs don't have that, right? Because bank, whenever these small businesses go to bank for loan, bank asks for something as collateral, and normal business don't have that. So CGTMSE give a guarantee to the bank so that even if the borrower fail, the bank is protected. This make bank more confident in giving the loan. Let me give you one example to make it more clear. For example, let's suppose there is a young entrepreneur and he wanted a 10 lakh rupees loan, right, to start a repair workshop. He want to start a repair workshop for which he need 10 lakh rupees note. But he has no land, he has no property to mortgage. With CGTMSE, the bank can still give him the loan because the scheme guaranteed it. I hope it is clear. Now, let's look at option number C. Credit goods and trade management scheme, completely wrong. And CGTMSE did not provide subsidy. Here it is just subsidy. No. It has nothing to do with subsidy. It is a kind of credit guarantee. Option number D is also wrong. Right. Large scale industry are not covered here. Remember, large scale industry, they are not covered here. And it is meant for collateral free loan. So the correct option is option number B. So what we learned from this question is that, full form, first of all, full form is clear. Credit guarantee fund trust for micro and small enterprise. Second thing is that who set up? MSME and SIDBI. Both of them combinedly set up. The purpose is to help the MSE, not large enterprise. The purpose is only to help the MSE, micro and small enterprise, to get loan without collateral or third party guarantee. How it work? It work by giving bank a guarantee cover. And it apply to manufacturing and it apply to the services. Right? Remember it. And it is not about marketing and not about subsidy, not for larger industry. So friends, always remember, CGTMSE is like a safety net for the bank so that a small business can get loan easily without pledging the property. Friends, if you are looking for a study material for this MSME examination, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number because we have almost 5 to 6 previous year memory question based PDF available in the course. Also, we provide you 2000 plus MCQs for practice purpose. Along with that, module wise quick notes, unit wise quick notes, which will immediately help you in your upcoming examination. And many people have qualified the examination using our material in their first attempt itself. If you want also to qualify using, increase your efficiency, having net low input and maximum output, then you can check out the course. The course link is provided in the description section of the video. I hope every aspect about CGTMSE is clear. Now let's see the next question that we have. Yes, very good question. This question asks you the definition of the angel investor. So question is regarding that as per the SEBI Alternative Investment Fund, we call it AIF. As per the SEBI AIF Regulation 2012, which one of the following correctly describe an angel investor? So this question is regarding the angel investor, right? Option number A says that individual with a net tangible asset of at least 2 crore, excluding principal capital residence, or is a senior management professional with at least 10 years of experience, or a buddy corporate with net worth of at least 10 crore. Option number B says that any individual willing to invest less than 25 lakh in a startup without an asset or experience criteria. Option C, only venture capital fund with asset over 10 crore investing in large stage venture. And option D says that individual investor with net worth over 50 lakh irrespective of the investment experience. So if you look at the option number A, we question is asking about angel investor. Yes, option number A is the correct one. This one is the correct one, right? So remember some criteria. Let me explain. So this is the correct definition. First of all, and if you talk about the angel investor, so you must know that he is an individual, right? He is an individual. He must have asset worth at least 2 crore, not counting their home. Plus, they should have an experience. They require experience. Experience like invest. They must have invested in a startup before, right? Starting multiple business. They must have experience of starting the multiple business, right? Serial entrepreneur we call it, or they must be in the senior management role. They must be in the senior management role for at least 10 years. If either of these, then they're called what is the term that we're talking about here? Angel investor. Okay. Now, third thing is that buddy corporate. Yes. If you talk about the buddy corporate, so that company with, so if for individual, this is the criteria. For buddy corporate, which have at least 10 crore net worth, can also be angel investor. Now let's talk about the funds. Even AIF, alternative investment fund, or VCF. It is called venture capitalist fund, registered with SEBI. They also qualify. So see, individual, in context of individual we have discussed, in context of buddy corporate we have discussed, in context of fund we have discussed. So let me give you one example to make it more clear. Suppose there is a retired CEO. Take the case of retired CEO of a particular company, right? He has 5 crore worth of asset and 20 year of management experience, so he can act like an angel investor. Similarly, a company with 15 crore net worth can also invest. So I hope the definition is crystal clear. Now the option number B says that individual willing to invest less than 25 lakh. This is completely wrong, right? SEBI rule is that minimum investment is 25 lakh, not less than that, right? This is the minimum investment, 25 lakh, not less than that. Option number C says that only venture capital fund with asset over 10 crore. No, angel investors are known for funding early stage startup. Remember, they fund early stage startup, right? And it is not limited to venture capital fund. Even individual, even corporate, they can also qualify. Not only venture capital fund. So this is also wrong. What about D? Any individual investor with net worth of 50 lakh. This is again wrong. Net worth is not 50 lakh, rather it is 2 crore, right? Plus, just having money is not enough. The person must have relevant experience like a startup investing, entrepreneur, senior management, etc. Right. So let's quickly summarize the key point which we have covered in this particular through this question. I told you we are talking to the context of angel investor. So remember, to the context of angel investor, as per the SEBI has defined angel investor as follow. SEBI definition. So individual with asset more than 2 crore, excluding house, he should have an experience in startup, multiple business, senior management role. Right. Just now I given you one example of CEO, have retired CEO. Now minimum investment is 25 lakh. This is a very, very important thing. How much is the minimum investment for this angel investor? 25 lakh. Okay. And second point, that if it is a corporate, if it is a buddy corporate, then net worth should be more than 10 crore. And AIF and VCF registered with SEBI, they can also be the angel investor. The purpose is to encourage early stage startup funding while ensuring that investors are financially strong and experienced. So friends, remember, angel investors are not rich people with a spare money. They are experienced individual. They are institution with financial strength. Right? I hope this concept is crystal clear now. Let's see the next question that we have. Friends, do hit the like button if you really think that it is adding value to your preparation. Now, the question is as per, I think this question is repeated. Let me skip this particular one. This one is a repeated one. Okay. Now, which of the following is not a common symptom of a sick industrial unit? Very good question. This question is asked every time. Sick chart. But question pattern only change, but you should know what is the meaning of sick industrial unit. So not a common symptom is being asked. Right. Options are in front of your screen. As you can see, persistent shortage of cash to meet day-to-day obligation. Option B. Continuous increase in sale and profit over the year. Option C. Decline in capacity utilization and frequent breakdown in the plant machinery. Option D. Delay or default in payment of a statutory due such as taxes and salary. So let's start with option A. It says that persistent short of cash. This is definitely a symptom of sickness. Suppose let me illustrate it here. Right, let me illustrate this particular point here. Very, very important from examination point of view. Suppose there is a company, okay, and this company is always short of cash. This company, you know, it is always short of cash and it cannot even pay for daily expense like electricity. It is unable to pay for, you know, electricity, right? Or, you know, raw material, or, you know, wages, right? It shows that business is in financial trouble. So imagine a factory that has to borrow money every week just to pay worker. That is clearly a red flag, isn't it? So this is the point. So persistent shortage of cash to meet day-to-day obligation. Yes, this one is condition. So option A is correct. Option number B says that continuous increase in sales and profit over the year. Yes, this is not the symptom. See, if the sales and profit are continuously increasing, the unit is actually healthy and growing. So this is not a sick one. So option number B is the correct answer to this particular question. Option C, this decline in the capacity utilization and frequent breakdown in the plant and machinery. Yes, clearly this is a symptom. You know what is the meaning of this term capacity utilization? Let me explain. It means, you know, how much of the factory full capacity is being used. You know, every factory has a particular capacity. So how much of that capacity is being used, that's called capacity utilization. So if the plant can produce 100 units, suppose there is a plant that can produce 100 units, but it's only producing 40 or 50. So because of frequent breakdown or inefficiency, so it's clearly a bad signal. For example, take the case of textile mill with machine always out of order and worker sitting idle. This clearly shows the sickness. Option D says that delays or default in payment of a statutory due such as tax and salary. Another symptom of sickness. Yes, this is also another symptom. You know, healthy unit pays salary, provident fund, taxes on time. If payment are delayed again and again, it means the company is struggling with the finance. Right. So what we have discussed here, we have discussed some symptoms of sickness. Option B is the correct one. Remember, like, you know, these are the symptoms of sickness: persistent shortage of working capital, decline in capacity utilization, and delay or non-payment of a statutory due, continuous losses, deteriorating financial ratio, irregularities in accounting. So these are the symptoms of sickness. Okay, so friends, remember, a sick unit shows sign of financial weakness like cash shortage, declining production, default, and if sales and profit are rising steadily, that is actually a sign of health. Now friends, let's look at this particular question. Very good question. It asks you which country is credited with the first implementing the concept of industrial cluster as an economic development strategy. Options are United States, India, United Kingdom, and Italy. Very good question it is. Which country started the concept of industrial cluster? So now many of you think of the United States because of the Silicon Valley. Yes, Silicon Valley is the world famous technology cluster where thousands of IT company, startup, research institutions are concentrated in one place. But remember, Silicon Valley developed later in the 20th century, right? You know, the concept of cluster existed even before that. So while US is a successful example, it is not the first country to implement it. What about India? India is also industrial cluster. Like you might have heard of Surat. Surat is very famous for diamond, right? You might have heard for, you know, Tirupur. Have you heard the name of Tirupur? So Tirupur is famous for, you know, textile, right? Moradabad. You know Moradabad? You might have heard of Moradabad. So Moradabad is famous for what? It is famous for brass work, right? So friends, but India started this cluster development program much later, inspired by the international model like Italy. So India is not the pioneer. What about United Kingdom? Now the UK is called the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. You know, this is called the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Many industry grew here, but they were not formally organized as an industrial cluster. See, what we are talking about, we are talking about the cluster, industrial cluster. We are talking about this. So basically, they were not formally organized as industrial cluster with a development strategy. So while the UK was an early industry hub, it was not the first country to implement the cluster mechanism. The correct answer to this question is Italy. Yes, Italy is the correct one. You know, Italy after World War II, the northern region of the Italy, like, you know, Emilia and Tuscany, become famous for a small and medium industry grouped together. For example, one district is specialized in textile, another district in ceramic, another in machinery. So this concentration of similar industry in one region created a strong network, and, you know, business could share supplier, skilled worker, knowledge. This was the real beginning of the modern cluster strategy. Later thinker like, you know, Michael Porter, they studied this Italian cluster and made the concept famous worldwide. So the correct answer is Italy. Italy is credited with being the first to implement industrial cluster as a development strategy. Please remember this question are most frequently asked. The next question is a very good question. Let's understand. What was the key reason why the Jaipur MSME cluster did not perform as expected? Yes, Jaipur MSME cluster. Option A, lack of skilled labor and increase in production cost. Option B, a strong competition from international market. Option C, over investment on infrastructure without market demand. Option D, excessive government incentive causing dependency. So let's look at option number A. Yes, this is the correct answer. In Jaipur, many MSME struggled because they did not have enough skilled worker. This is the main point, lack of skilled worker. Right. For example, if you are making handicraft or jewelry, you need a skilled artisan who know the craft well. But here, the shortage of such skilled worker labor affected the quality as well as the efficiency. At the same time, production cost keep going up, like raw material, electricity, wages. The double problem: low skill and high cost, reduced competitiveness. In fact, many units were working with just 50% of their capacity. What about B? A strong competition from international market? Yes, international competition does affect many MSME, but in Jaipur case, the main problem was not the global competition. The bigger issue was inside the cluster itself. Lack of skilled worker, high cost. So option B is not the primary reason. Yes, it was a reason, not the primary one. What about C? Over investment in infrastructure. So what's the meaning of this term over investment? It means building more than what is required. But Jaipur problem was not too much infrastructure. In fact, cluster has issues like poor marketing support, lack of design innovation, right? So this option does not fit the real cause. What about D? Excessive government incentive causing dependency. Sometimes too many subsidies can make industry dependent. But here Jaipur MSME were not suffering because of too much incentive. Instead, they were struggling due to skill shortage, weak design development, rising cost, etc. So let me summarize the keyword. Right, the main reason Jaipur cluster underperformed was the skilled worker, lack of skilled worker, right, plus production cost was rising, right. So these are the two reasons. So friends, remember the Jaipur MSME cluster teaches us that even with demand, if you don't have a skilled manpower and cost efficiency, performance will suffer. I hope this breakdown make things easy to understand. Now friends, let's look at the next question. Very good question, again related to the cluster. So you can see now back to back 3 questions on cluster. So you can see the importance of cluster development. Very important cluster development program. The question is, which of the following correctly describe the typical phases involved in cluster development? Option A, identification, initiation, establishment, operationalization, transformation. Option B, planning, marketing, executing, closure, post evaluation. Option C, formation, production, marketing, distribution, termination. Option D, idea generation, innovation, product launch, growth, decline. So this one is a typical question. Very good question it is. So friends, let's go through each and every option. We will start with option number A. Yes, option number A is the correct one. Right. First thing is the identification. Right. The very first step in cluster development, we are talking about CDP. That means cluster development is called identification. Now let me clear your theory portion. What is the meaning of this term identification? Do you know its meaning? Let me write it down. Identification. Find the potential cluster. We find the potential cluster. How do we find it? By mapping the industries. We map the industry and find the potential cluster that shares similar product, similar process, similar market. Let me give you one example. Like identifying a particular region where many small textile unit exist. Many small textile unit exist. Right, that is called identification. After identification, we have initiation. Initiation means what? Formulate a strategy, engage a stakeholder, create a shared vision for the cluster. That is called initiation. Like organizing meeting. Suppose you are organizing meeting with the local entrepreneur. Right, you are organizing meeting with the local entrepreneur. Why so? So as to agree on a common goal. After initiation, then comes establishment. Set up governance structure, common facility, begin development planning like training, technology upgradation, infrastructure. So in this case, we create a common facility. What we do? We create a common facility center for dyeing and finishing in the textile cluster. After establishing come, operationalization, which means, making the cluster functional with active participation, marketing, skill building, and innovative support. Like, launching cluster-wide branding. One example you can think of launching cluster-wide branding. Okay, this is called operationalization. Then comes, transformation. What is the meaning of transformation? Focus on long-term sustainability, scaling up, continuous innovation, networking beyond the local region. So that's why, from this discussion, what we come to know that yes, option A is the correct one. Option B is wrong. Why it is wrong? Because cluster development is a long-term strategic process, right? Not just a one-time process with closure. It is a long-term strategic process. Option number C is also incorrect. This look more like a product life cycle or business operation model. Cluster are building ecosystem, collaboration, growth. They do not terminate like a product. And option number D also look like product life cycle. You can look at it, right? Again, cluster development is much broader. So friends, remember there are 5 phases of cluster development. First of all, identify, then initiate. Means identify means you find the potential cluster. Initiate means you build a strategy, you build shared vision. Establish means you set up a structure, set up common facility, set up a start development. Operationalization means functional cluster with active participation. And transformation means long-term sustainability, scaling, innovation and networking. So remember, cluster development is like nurturing a community of business step by step, from identifying the potential to sustaining the growth. I hope you find this explanation easy to understand. Do hit the like button. Now friends, let's see the next question that we have. The next question is on your screen. Which of the following is not a scheme or program offered by SIDBI for MSME? Option A, SMILE, SIDBI Make in India or Soft Loan Fund for Micro Small Industry. Option B, SIDBI Assistant and Aid for Thematic Support to MSME. In short, we call it SATH. Option C, PM Swanidhi Scheme for Street Vendor. Option D, SIDBI Speed Plus Scheme for Financing Purchase of Machinery. If you look at the option number A, yes, it is correct. This SMILE scheme provides soft loan. What is the meaning of this soft loan? For new or early stage manufacturing. And it offers you flexible terms, make it easier for a startup to access fund. Like for example, a new small textile unit want to start production, but they don't have enough capital. So SMILE provide a soft loan to help them. Then we have SATH. Yes, this is another correct SIDBI scheme. SATH focus on SC/ST entrepreneur. It's all about SC/ST entrepreneur. It provide term loan and favorable terms and credit guarantee to help promote inclusivity in MSME. So for example, suppose there is an SC owned handicraft business, they can get financial support to expand operation or upgradation. PM Swanidhi scheme is the incorrect one. This is a government program for street vendor, right? It is launched by the MOHUA, Ministry of House and Urban Affairs. So SIDBI, it provide working capital loan to a street vendor. SIDBI may sometimes act like a facilitator. Remember, this particular SIDBI, it may act like a facilitator, right? But the scheme is not directly offered by SIDBI, right? What about option D, Speed Plus? Yes, SIDBI Speed Plus scheme is the correct one. Speed Plus help MSME purchase machinery, right? Through this scheme, they can purchase machinery from the OEM. OEM is what? Original equipment manufacturer. Please understand, sometimes next time the question will be asked regarding the Speed Plus scheme. You must know, Speed Plus scheme help the MSME to purchase machinery. It help the MSME to purchase machinery from OEM. It offers streamlined documentation and competitive interest rate. So the correct answer is option number C. Please remember, SMILE is a soft loan for early stage MSME. SATH is a support to STSC com enterprise, and Speed Plus is a machinery financing for MSME. Swanidhi scheme, it's loan for a street vendor under MOHUA. So friends, the takeaway is that SIDBI has a specialized scheme for MSME, while PM Swanidhi target street vendor and is government initiative. Friends, let's end our discussion here. If you want me to bring more, because we have a lot of questions available. We have collected from the memory base to those who appear in the examination. If you want me to bring the part 2 video of this lecture, just write yes in the chat box. And if you want to avail any kind of study material, you can WhatsApp me on this particular number. It will surely help you to crack the examination in the very first attempt, because we have done wide research. We have observed the paper over more than 1 year, and based on that we